Welcome back everyone to another episode, another photo shoot video today. This time it was with two of my other photography buddies, Buster and Ignatius. We booked out a massive natural light studio, and luckily for us we got a lot of beautiful glorious natural light that day. The day started a bit crap though, since two of our models cancelled on us, which I'm not surprised by because it was a Saturday shoot and the shoot started on midday. You know, it doesn't make it okay to cancel, but that is something you got to be mindful of. And you know, as precaution, we booked more models than we needed, and thankfully the models who did show up were ace. They were awesome. As with all our shoots, it was just a chance to experiment, to have fun, and just really get to know each other, and just try out, you know, techniques and things that we just wouldn't have a chance otherwise to do. In terms of gear, I had my X3 with the 35mm f2 and the 18-55. I had my Mamiya 645 Super with the 80mm f2.8. I also had the Canon A1 with the 15mm f1.8 and my Nikon L35 AF for some BTS shots. We planned our shoot as such, you know, whilst we had that strong sunlight beaming in through the massive windows. You know, we made full use of that. We played with colourful gels, reflectors. We sort of, you know, and we also played with some mirrors, and we also had these massive large white blocks which we used to create different levels, and a chair. You know, we wanted to create you know, different perspectives and all that. Basically we just went wild. We tried every different variation and combination that we could come up with, you know, with each prop. So since there were three of us, three shooters, you know, we couldn't all be directing at the same time. We took turns directing the models. Whilst one of us was directing, the other two of us would be acting as second shooters, you know, shooting around the primary shooter, taking their shots. The primary shooter would set up the shot, and then we'd just take whatever shots we could around the primary shooter, or we'd basically act as assistants, you know, holding up reflectors, holding up mirrors, that kind of stuff. For example, you know, one of us was asked, hey, could you just move the purple gel just a little bit closer, or move it down just a bit, just so that certain colors would cast on certain parts of the model's face. Likewise, you know, we'd hold reflectors for each other. For example, in this mirror shot, I had either Buster or Ignatius holding the reflector and reflecting the sunlight onto Jasmine's face, just illuminating her face just a bit better. You know, without that reflector, Jasmine's face would have been just a bit underexposed, you know, since she's backlit in the shot. You know, having two assistants made for a really smooth shoot. You know, shots that would have taken me maybe 5 minutes or so just to do myself literally took a matter of seconds, since I had, you know, people doing it for me. You know, these mirror shots are actually quite tricky to get, you know, especially trying to get what you want reflected in the mirror. As fun as the gels were, I personally preferred the natural light shots without them. You know, my favorite natural light shot from the day was actually this close-up portrait of Jasmine. I'm not really sure how I managed this, to be honest, but it almost has like a pace-night quality. I don't know how I managed it, complete fluke. You know, what's always interesting to see about these kind of shoots is that seeing how other photographers work, seeing similarities and differences, and it's really interesting to see, you know, times where, you know, you can almost preempt what you know, what the other photographer is going to take. You know, you had to be really on your toes, and you had to think really quickly, which is really quite a good exercise. Since we were quickly switching between, you know, primary and secondary shooters, you constantly had to be thinking of new shots to take. You know, for example, if you saw a shot that you wanted to take being taken by someone else, you had to quickly think of something else. But having said that, there were a lot of times where if you saw a shot taken by another photographer that you really like, you quickly say, hey, do you mind if I take your shot? And it would be completely cool. So once the daylight had gone, you know, we blacked out the studio. Ignatius brought out another toy out of his box of tricks. It was a cheap projector, and I think he got about £30 off Amazon. The first one was yellow rectangles on a blue background, and then the second one was a yellow circle on a blue background. Yeah, this was really interesting because I was worried that these shots were, you know, since it was such low light, I was really worried that, you know, I would have to bump up the ISO, and, you know, I was worried that the images would turn out too noisy. But thankfully, you know, these images came out really, really clean, and I was really impressed with the X3. It's such a simple idea, just projection, you know, onto a wall. But as Ignatius said on the shoot, you know, you know, who needs a makeup artist now? You know, my favorite shot from this segment was definitely this one of Victoria holding the sun. And lastly, we got the strobe out. We had I can't remember what it is. It's like a Pixar Pro 600, something like that. We attached a large soft octobox over it. Ignatius mounted that onto a C-stand on a boom arm and had the light positioned directly above the models, kind of like an umbrella. I decided to shoot these shots in black and white with the Mamiya 645. I think I shot T-Max 400. Ironically, my favorite shots were actually the ones where the flash didn't fire. Basically, the trigger goes to sleep after a few seconds, so I took some shots without realizing that the flash had gone to sleep. And so these shots were actually purely illuminated by just the modeling light of the strobe. You know, it was actually closer to what I had in mind. I just wanted the outline of the models. You know, I wanted to be really moody, really dark, you know, quite abstract. All in all, this was just a really fun shoot, a really a successful shoot, I would say. We got a huge range of shots. I tried all kinds of lighting techniques, setting. We played with all manners of props and cameras. You know, as I said before, as fun as the gels were, I still prefer the naturally lit shots. I just prefer natural colors, I guess. If you like the video, comment something nice down below. Did you have a favorite shot out of all of them? I would highly recommend, if you guys were ever wondering about hiring a studio, I would highly recommend sharing the cost with, you know, some other photographers. It makes it far more economical. We have a lot of new subscribers, so I just wanted to say hi to all the new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, it means a lot. If you don't know how we do things around here, I post to the channel twice a week because twice is twice as nice. If you don't know, we're going for 10,000 subscribers this year. Yes, that's right, 10,000 subscribers. So if you want to be part of whatever this is from the very beginning, then hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram at ZainShootsFilm. Check out my portfolio at ZainReason.com. And with all that said and done, keep learning, keep shooting. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.